messed up in, and so I can do better than what they did.
Are these young people not outstanding?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna change tracks now for a minute. I want to talk about safety, feeling safe in your school. Do you feel safe in your school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What makes you? What creates that sense of safety for you?
The principals and like the security guards, people around, like the.
Do you have police in the school?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they armed?
I really haven't like met them in person. I've met them in person. Like I don't look at them.
Oh, so they're not like stationed in the halls every time you're going through the hall. There's a policeman or something.
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
There are administrators in the hall, but
Administrators in the hall?
yes, ma'am.
I heard recently that somebody told me I need to go by Towers High School because they said when you go in the hall, it's so orderly that there's, like I said, administrators in the hall and everybody's going where they need to go. There's no chaos.
Yes, ma'am.
So is there anything else about the school that makes you feel safe?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. That's great.
I feel safe in my school because I guess nobody has given me a reason not to. We haven't had any incidents, even though it's like a new school, but we haven't had any incidents that have had me worry like that about my safety.
Okay. And do you have officers in the hallways?
We have security guards, and he kind of like helps around, so I see him often. And there's just one guy though, so it's not as safe as I wish it could be. But that's that one person. I know he do his best to keep us safe.
And what would make you feel safer?
Like 50 million around.
Autumn?
We go to the same school, but I feel safe in my school too. Well, it's in Atlanta, so obviously when you leave, it gets a little unsafe. But, there's a lot of school shootings lately, and so our school has, when you enter, you have to get into the school itself, and then in the reception area, you can't get in, there's another door, and you can't get past that door without getting scanned through twice. So that makes me feel extra safe because you can't get to the kids. So first off, you have to get into the office if you have permission, and then if you have permission to leave the office, you can go where the kids are. So that's something new implemented because before you could just walk in. So I think that's something safe that they've added. And also for the safety as far as behavior, I think that our school, they said it straightforward that they're not going to tolerate like any gangs or issues with like that. So I think that also helps because teachers will try to be your friend at first, like they'll try to be nice to you and sugarcoat things, but then that's when you start to push them over the edge. But they said it straightforward that this is the rules and you have to follow them, and that really makes it safer because that means like kids will get kind of scared of you. We have our breaking points.
You have your breaking points? Is that
Yes,
what
we
you said?
do.
Okay, Joshua, you want to add to that? Okay. We wanted to ask, these are also again from nextdoor.com, if you had any interactions with police. And if you had, how were you treated? How would you say you were treated? Have you had any interactions with the police?
No.
Okay. have you, Jamal?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Autumn?
Not really, but I've talked to them and they're respectful. I don't have any issues with profiling.
Okay. They're all pleading the fifth on this one. So you mentioned profiling. So you want to talk about that?
Sure. I was just saying that I haven't had any issues with profiling. But like I said, I haven't been put in a situation where I would notice it, because I mean, I can't say that it's not there. I just haven't been put in a situation to say that I've experienced it.
The next question was, do you have suggestions of how the police could have better relationships with teenagers? Because you guys haven't had interactions with the police, but you probably know people who have. And is there any sense that our South DeKalb police are harsh on teenagers or harsh on youth?
So we have cops. We had a MARTA police officer visit our school because we take MARTA at 6 in the morning to get to our school. And so they had to come speak to us about safety. And it was kind of welcoming because, they were very pleasant and they came to speak to us. So if, like, officers were to come and talk to us, at school assemblies, usually schools will allow that, would make us more comfortable. And, I'm not saying they shouldn't be friendly, but they should stay serious. But I think it'd be good to have them come speak at our schools.
Okay. Joshua, you want to add to that? Okay. Anything to add?
Kind of like how Autumn said, when police officers visit schools, but also visiting like community parks, like when they have events, being there, socializing, making people feel safe. Because when you see people in the community, you feel safe because you know that y'all are a community, y'all are together. So, yeah.
The mic tilted away from the speaker. Yeah. We've had, in Belvedere Park anyway, we've had a lot of burglaries earlier in the summer. And it's been rumored that there's a group of teens that are committing the burglaries. And so our residents wanted to ask, what would help prevent teens from committing burglaries and break-ins? So you guys aren't out there doing it, but you may know people who are or may have some insight as to why some teens do go that way, commit burglaries and break-ins and go against the community that way.
Okay, so I don't know anybody personally who's doing it, so I can't say what to change for them. But I personally think we should have a rec center, like, in the middle of the community, not in East Lake or Decatur, like in Belvedere. Because, like, to go work out and stuff, I have to go all the way up north and away from here, which is taking all the positive out of the neighborhood. So, I mean, obviously it costs a lot of money to build a rec center, but I think that would be the best thing, because then I would come to the community and I'd invite my friends, and you just it's going into the community versus out. But I've always wanted a rec center, and I think that would draw the attention, to put it towards sports and just being a team, or even like youth groups or volunteering and stuff like that, but particularly for teens. Like, it has to be a teen youth group, not a community youth. Well, a group particularly for teens, to meet up and be able to be together and get to know each other, because I don't know a lot of people. I don't know anybody in my neighborhood. So, for me to get to know the ones that have the same interests as me and stuff, especially if it's in like exercising and stuff, I think that'd be good to have a rec center.
Okay, thank you. Who else? Who else wants to talk about that? Anything that Autumn said sparked something in you? Is there something you'd like to see in your neighborhood that you think would bring teens together, keep teens from getting into trouble?
She really said most of what I said. Well, I mean, what I was going to say, because we play basketball a lot, and the people that I heard commit the crime, they be playing basketball where we usually be at. So I think that the rec center would do a better job in keeping the teens out of committing crime.
So you know that some of the kids that are playing basketball with you are the same kids that are out there committing crimes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if there was a rec center or teen groups, ways that they could plug into activities, you think that would prevent them from committing crimes?
Yes, ma'am.
How would that work?
Because it would like get them something to do every day instead of like trying to go out and take somewhere else stuff. And you can just like sit in there and just play basketball, what they used to do, instead of just doing something bad with their life.
Audie, you have something to add?
Kind of like having a rec center, having something to do, like setting an amount of goals. Because when you have something that you're working forward to, unless it's like, I don't know, becoming something bad, then you wouldn't want bad things to be in your way. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying. That if you've got something positive going on, you don't want something to interrupt that, and so you would stay on the positive track.
Yeah.
So what if you had if we said, okay, we're going to build a rec center, what do you want in it? What would you want in it? What should a rec center have?
I would want things that are kind of like out of the norm, like archery or something like that. So
That is out of the norm, aren't you? Okay. What would you want, Jamal? What would you want in a rec center? Basketball, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what else?
Like a swimming pool, because I like swimming a lot.
Yeah. And where's the closest swimming pool? Like, do you get to go swimming anywhere?
Well, I did in the summertime, but at Midway.
Oh, how's the Midway Rec Center?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you had a swimming pool near your house that you could go to on your bike or walk to, would that change anything? How often you go?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there like all the time because it'll be a basketball court and a swimming pool there. So that's two things that I like to do. So it'll like give me something to do. So I won't be out there doing like committing crimes and
Cool. Okay. So what would be in your rec center, Joshua?
Same thing. The same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing, the swimming pool and the basketball court.
Anything else?
Probably like a football field. That we can play football too.
So football, basketball, swimming, archery. What about you, Art? What would be in your rec center?
Okay. Well, I would like Otto, and I'd like something different and weird, like, because I quit gymnastics, so just like some bars, so I could just do kips all day. Yeah, a pool, a tennis court, because I actually found that I like playing tennis. Stuff that you don't, because basketball and football fields are everywhere. To me, I see them everywhere. So something different, so that you're like, wow, what is that? And you want to try something new, like archery and a track, things like that. Bowling, I mean, that's something to do, right? It's fun. So yeah, something that most rec centers don't have, so that it catches your attention, because there has to be something to get your attention and you want to go.
Okay, fair enough. So this whole rec center idea and having things in your community for you to do is teen centric, right? It's
Yes.
teens hanging out with other teens and at the rec center with other teens. Now I want to know, and the people on nextdoor.com want to know how you would plug into the community. What ways how can I phrase it? What would make you interested in the community and being part of the community, like mixing with the community, like when we have community events or meetings like this, like what would be interesting enough to attract you to those things, so that it's you had your team thing going on and then connecting to the community. What would be interesting